And welcome once again to another episode of the Horizon Roundtable. I am Bob McDonald, and you can find me on Twitter at Bob McDonald. And joining me is my co-host Jimmy Lemke.
Hello, everybody. I'm alive. I had a very interesting Saturday night at the Brewers game. I had a lot of conversations, arguments, and I had an argument with a flat earther. That was fun.
Nice. All right.
And not surprisingly, that guy was wearing IUPUI hat.
Oh, Jesus. Really?
Okay. Yep. And a T-shirt with the NASA logo, but instead of NASA, it said hoax.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. All right. And Jimmy, of course, you can find on Twitter at PantherU.
At PantherU.
At PantherU. And you can follow the podcast on Twitter at HorizonRT. And Jimmy, of course, we are at the point, we are at our annual Fall Fan Forum, and we got a whole crap load of stuff to talk about. So, so this is going to be the first of the two-part episode as we did last year. So and we got a bunch of new faces this year. So and some old holdovers you guys know very well. So a couple of surprising faces too. So without any further ado, I'm going to just get everybody's intros out of the way. We're going to do this in alphabetical order, starting by school and. Cleveland State, representing Cleveland State, Phil.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Phil. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You can leave the stuff about John Durda out.
Oh, I can leave it out? Okay. First year Cleveland State season ticket holder. What a disaster that's going to be.
Thank you, Phil. That's very encouraging. Now, representing Rick, representing Detroit Mercy. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hi guys, I'm Rick Neaton, graduate of the University of Detroit, now called the University of Detroit Mercy. I write investment analysis reports, and in my spare time, use my frequent flyer miles to travel to watch the Titans play on the road. And you're as apt to find me in one of your own arenas as in Callahan Hall. So I'm looking forward to this.
Nice. All right. And coming up next is Green Bay, and we all know Jim. Jim?
Hey, Bob. It's Jim Searle. Thanks for having me again. You can find me on Twitter at Jim Searle. And as for today, I'm not sure how it's going to go, so I've got a coffee in front of me and a beer, so I can go either way.
Wow.
There you go.
Great.
It goes both ways.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Milwaukee, another familiar face to y'all. Chad.
Hi, I'm Chad Knodel, a 2015 graduate of Milwaukee, former student section leader, and current apathetic Amanda Braun hating fan.
We got another new face on representing Northern Kentucky. Christopher, please introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, it's Chris Boggs. I'm calling from Cologne, Germany, so I've got lots of beers in front of me. Graduated way back in the day. I was a student coach when our women's basketball team won the NCAA Division II national championship, and I'm just a 6'2", 300-pound, dreamy, blue-eyed guy.
So you're a little guy.
Yeah, very tiny.
There you go.
Very tiny. The lederhosen are going to fit well though next week.
We've got another Chris. This one is representing Oakland. Chris, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm the vice president of the student section here at Oakland. I also play in the pep band, the alto saxophone at all the basketball games, and I'm ready for a good season.
The Grizz Gang is in the house. Nice. All right. And of course, last but not least, I'm sure I'm not missing anybody else. Ricky, of course, Wright State.
Happy to be back again, Ricky Redinger.
The who the target of many an NKU fan's ire, and that's partially our fault because he's the only one we ever have representing Wright State, so that's kind of our fault.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Yeah. So as I always do, I thank all of you for taking part in this Fall Fan Forum. But I want to start this out to express my undying and just visible disappointment in the fact that for another once again we were unable to find a fan for IUPUI and UIC and Youngstown State.
It's funny because nobody in the UIC, IUPUI, or Youngstown State athletic departments can find fans for their teams either.
Well,
That's true.
Yes.
Players.
I'm specifically put out by the Youngstown State thing, and this is why, because right now we're putting out a lot of content on HorizonRoundtable.com, and we've got a Youngstown State writer, Mark Weems.
He's fantastic.
He's busting his ass putting together a lot of putting together articles for YSU.
Does 1AA football play on Sundays?
Does not.
And
no.
If they do, does anybody see it?
I'm guessing, unless it's the Ivy League, I'm guessing no. Actually, the Ivy League does in fact play on Sundays. At least they used to until but YSU does not.
Aren't we in the Ivy League?
We are not.
Oh fuck.
We are not.
My English degree has me selling
there
cars.
Went my degree.
In the Ivy League.
No.
There went my degree.
So, so that's my source of disappointment, with YSU. UIC, I mean, we got the one guy, we got Olier Anderson, he's at Flames Mania, we had him on but unfortunately Sundays don't work for him, and then, everybody else, guys, come on. I mean, I know a couple of you follow us. You're killing us here. We can't go to the Olier Anderson well anymore, especially when for the time we record this. But my specific, then we get to IUPUI.
There's got to be a UIC is also a heathen in the eyes of the Lord.
Yes.
Is UIC a private Christian school?
No, UIC is a very large public school.
Yes, it is.
Well, we're going to say
their mascot have a Twitter
today just to give them a break.
Their mascot is a cousin of Barney the dinosaur.
Oh my!
I think he has a Twitter.
Sparky?
We should have the mascot on.
The mascot.
We should have had. Maybe we should have. I mean, he wouldn't have said anything, but I mean,
why? You know what? Let's just pretend that Sparky the Dragon is on this podcast, but he doesn't speak.
Yeah.
So Sparky, introduce yourself.
Quick thing about
Does that mean
mascots. Do you guys think the person is
on the show too?
No, the two penguins are off trying to make little penguins now.
While Morgan
Quick thing
Freeman
about mascots.
While Morgan Freeman is narrating their mating ritual.
Yeah.
penguins are very good
Youngstown
parents.
State,
Yeah. So.
or where they send the kid penguins off to CCD so they can try and make more kid penguins.
I don't go.
Yeah, so you know what? You know what, guys? Again, we mentioned it right at the very beginning. If you don't participate, you are subject to open ridicule. Which brings me to my final non-participating school, which is IUPUI. Again, we cannot continue to go to the Chris Schutte well. He's not available all the time. We had one other guy who was not available, Carter Metler. He gets a pass. He's the only other IUPUI guy who.
I think Sundays are the days they shower. So
hey, I think Coach Gardner's available.
Oh, I don't. Is he really a fan though anymore? I mean, honestly, I don't know, man.
We don't know the circumstances
anymore.
Yeah. So, but this is the part. But that's the joke. This is actually the punchline for IUPUI, and we tweeted this out, and we cannot make this up, not even close. IUPUI a couple weeks ago, on September 4th. Actually wrote an article and posted it to the IUPUI website. 7 tips for being an IUPUI superfan. This is an actual article, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Apparently,
Was 10 too much?
Yeah, apparently so.
Okay.
Yes, and I
My first reaction was step one, don't exist in the first place.
We tweeted out at an 8th tip, have a fan represent, and apparently that kind of fell on deaf ears. I don't know, Jimmy. Is it because we light farts on fire in our podcast or something? I mean, we appreciate everybody who comes on. It's just, I'm a little put out by this, and maybe
lighting farts on fire is a pretty good description of just being a Horizon League fan.
This is true.
It's just, it smells like burnt shit all over the place.
So I feel. By the way, feel free everybody to weigh in on this as well, because you guys took the time out. I mean, Christopher, you're in freaking Germany, and you took the time out to come into this at the last minute, I might add, because unfortunately the Valhalla Vanguard was not able to make it.
Oh no!
I know
Yeah,
you're super disappointed about that, Phil. I know you are.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, to my defense, being on the phone while I'm in Germany is because it's 6 o'clock over here, and I've been drinking Oktoberfest since about 11 o'clock this morning. So, what else are you gonna do in the afternoon?
Oh, even better. What? Oh,
Chris, why'd you get such a late start?
It was the train. The train. I'm gonna blame it on the train from Berlin to Dusseldorf. There you go.
Wow.
There you go.
I was not aware that Oktoberfest was going on in your neck of the woods, Christopher. So that's wow.
We've got a bunch of former Panthers soccer players that are over there right now.
There you go.
Yeah, leader.
I keep seeing it on their Instagram. They're all getting super hammered. I wish I was there.
Yeah. It's a good time.
There you go. Oh.
Good time.
So yeah,
Bob.
See, you're taking all this out of you're taking time out from that in Oktoberfest to join us and participate, and and others could not apparently. I mean, I don't know, man.
I would have gotten drunk first.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing going on over here right now.
I mean, I guess I can't say I'm surprised, Jimmy.
Life would be better.
So,
IUPUI.
Yes, but that's just gonna. I didn't want to make the fan forum like the first half of it just an IUPUI.
So when you call it the fan forum, is this what we used to call the battle royale?
No, we have the battle royale in the spring. This is the fall fan forum, which is completely different. Well, not really. I mean, it's different because it's the name.
Okay, I'm out of here. I thought this was the battle royale. Oh, sorry about that.
Don't worry. We'll just. I mean, yeah. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I guess I want to say, I almost feel bad for piling on the IUPUI, but they just can't help themselves to just be in our
enjoy
way.
it while it lasts. You got to pile on IPFW soon.
You know what? We'll still be piling on IUPUI even then.
Hey guys,
I think that
used to make fun of the idea of IUPUI and Fort Wayne in the conference.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah, they do.
We called it alphabet soup, and we just talked shit about them all the time. Because we could always be, better than them.
Yeah.
Now we're
I think 80% of the people I talk to can't even tell me what IUPUI stands for, even in the Horizon League fans. So that could be a problem.
Indiana University, Purdue, some shit.
University of Indianapolis or something.
There you go.
I only remember that. So, and everybody's got to keep calling Fort Wayne, Purdue Fort Wayne, IP Fort Wayne, because everybody thinks that. Yeah, because everybody thinks that Indiana still has something to do with Fort Wayne. I don't know. I mean,
I refer to IUPUI as the Horizon League Conference Tournament hosts, is how I refer to them.
Yes, because they're sure as hell not going to participate, not with what they got going on right now.
I'll say this for the Northern Kentucky's got a legit beef. But I will also say that Northern Kentucky gets these things at their arena for home games that IUPUI doesn't. What's the word? Fans. That's the word I'm thinking of. So is IUPUI
paying
really
fans too, apparently.
Does IUPUI really have a competitive advantage?
No.
I mean, it sure as shit like Detroit Mercy took advantage of it.
But yeah, I mean,
brutal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did Oakland either?
Well, no, but Oakland at least can say they weren't the closest team to the arena.
Yeah, there were three. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, but it seems like we've been having this conversation about IUPUI for at least a couple seasons now. The fact that IUPUI has, it just seems to me that their high water mark is going to be that 16 and 17 season from last year. That seems like their high water mark. This is not exactly the hallmark of a team that, for reasons that escape all of us, it has to be. It again kind of reinforces the idea that IUPUI is there because they're there.
Their high water mark was 14 years ago with Ron Hunter as the head coach.
Not in the Horizon League, it wasn't.
But they've only been in the Horizon League for 2 years. So
Ron Hunter was a long time ago. Ron Hunter was the first season of 24. That's how long ago that shit was. I mean, that's two colleges ago for Ron Hunter. I mean that's.
Where is Ron Hunter at now?
He is now at Tulane.
He's in my basement.
Yeah. He's in my basement. He's tied up. He's just tied up playing cards. He's not tied up like he's my prisoner or anything.
Out of curiosity, when Ron Hunter wins a big hand, does he do the thing that he did during the NCAA tournament and fall and flail like a dead fish?
They made a bobblehead for that.
I'm sure they did.
It's the coolest bobblehead.
You have to memorialize something like that, by the way. But yeah,
my boss played for Ron at UWM when Ron was an assistant at UWM, and he wanted that bobblehead. We tried to get it, we couldn't find one.
Yeah. So
I think he did end up getting one because I think he actually ended up calling Ron and getting one himself.
Hey, Cleveland State, congratulations on getting a really good freaking assistant, by the way. You guys should be pretty freaking happy about that.
That is the dirtiest shit. You can't tell me
dude.
A high school basketball coach that also runs the best AAU program in the state of Ohio, and he
now the video
coordinator spot. Come on.
You just wait.
Hey, you know what?
Wait.
I'm sorry. Cleveland State just had a mass exodus. I'll take what I can get.
Hey, I'm just saying, when I saw that, that is some dirty stuff that's happening there. They're about to get all the kids natty going up there.
I'm telling you, just wait. You got a winner right there.
Yeah, Stephen Wright, named video coordinator, which is that was kind of a I don't know, but yeah. So, but
you do what you can.
I come on, man. We're gonna have we're Cleveland State's gonna have kind of a really for the fourth season in a row a throwaway season. So I'm gonna take what we can get.
In the Horizon League, every season's a throwaway season.
Yes, if you're not, it's like Ricky Bobby, man. If you're not,
didn't used to.
If you're not first, you're last. That's pretty much it, man. If the modern Horizon League is now, if you don't win the conference, you don't win the conference tournament, you're basically stuck in the CIT. Or the CBI or whatever third tier lame shit they come up with, in the future. Yeah. So yeah, if you're not first, you're last. So with that said, so as of right now, kind of want to circle back. Obviously, we're at a point right now where we're getting all these season previews from all the publications. Theoretically, they're correct-ish. Lindy's notwithstanding. But from what obviously this is.
I'm not familiar. Did Lindy's pick Valpo to win the conference or something?
Phil, you want to cover this one because we already talked about this online. So what happened was when Lindy's had their preview, which incidentally is going to pale in comparison to what we have in our previews, because we're going to be doing, because we've got week of October 6th, HorizonRoundtable.com. We're doing our previews that week. They did their little 2 or 3 paragraph blurb about all the schools. They did actually accurately, correctly say that Tyree Appleby was leaving Cleveland State, but under the list of the preseason accolades, even though he is now at Florida, Tyree Appleby, according to Lindy's, is magically going to get the win second. Going to be on it was named to the second team All Horizon League, and I believe he was also best playmaker. Yes, so I was wondering. I mean, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, given all the crazy crap that's happened between Cleveland State and IUPUI, I knew somebody was going to kind of muck that up, because it's just too much. I mean, it's just absolutely too much to kind of get a hold on. And most of these publications, honestly, most of their due dates are like at the end of July, beginning of August. I mean, Jesus Christ, they're already pumping out. They're already publishing, and we're in the middle of September, and most of the publications are out already out. I mean,
and they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Which is why, I believe last episode, I believe Matt Dudek said it best. If you need to, guys who are writing these things, if you need to talk to, listen to us. We're the ones actually paying attention to this stuff. So I'm good with that. And I mean us as in, the collective fandom. I'm sure that, I'm also, by the way, I incidentally love the fact that the one preview that did come out that was written by somebody who allegedly has some knowledge of the Horizon League was Street and Smith, and it was written by Elton Alexander, and God love him, because he wrote that preview just like he wrote every single Cleveland State story, pissed off he had to write it. Like he was pissed off he had to write it. I think he had IUPUI. I think he had IUPUI place 6th in the conference, and this was now, mind you, again, but this was probably written before. This was probably written before Jason Gardner got fired, but it was also written after Cameron Justice transferred. DJ McCall graduated, so I mean. Honestly, what do you guys think of these things? I mean, is it for me at this point in time? It's just these articles seem to be just like kind of a source of things for us to bitch about now.
I think it's form of bait. You got to put, you got to chum the waters and keep people interested, and as they're just putting stuff out there to accurate or inaccurate to keep people's nose in the books as we get closer to the actual season, and then they got to eat a lot of crow.
But that's our job. That's why we put out podcasts.
Agreed.
I mean, come on. I mean, it's I mean, I don't begrudge them to do that. I mean, they sell a bunch of them, and I'm sure most of these places couldn't give a rat's ass about what we think. I mean, most of the people reading, or most of the people buying these things are like, people from Power 5 conferences who want to see where their players are slotted in their top performers and whatever. So I mean, I don't begrudge them that they couldn't give a rat's ass, but I mean, cut us a little slack, a little bit at least sometimes. I don't know. So
have they really not hired a coach yet?
Who's that? No, they got the interim. They've got Byron Rim.
Byron Rim?
Yes, he was he's the assistant coach. He's now the interim. A&M. Yeah, he's from Prairie View A&M. So
wasn't Prairie View A&M like 0-30 like yesterday or something?
Yeah, and he was the one who was the coach of that team, by the way.
They had a really good year last year, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, he was the
good
coach
as you can have in the SWAC.
Yeah, well, I mean, as good as you could have at the SWAC when Mike Davis isn't coaching Texas Southern.
Right.
Well, to be fair, I mean, actually, Texas Southern is doing pretty damn good without Mike Davis too. So,
yeah.
So Mike Davis's legacy, there you go. So, hey, that's future hope for Detroit Mercy there. The ongoing, never-ending legacy of Mike Davis. And again, I've said it multiple times. You underestimate Mike Davis at your peril. I mean, so that's pretty useful. I mean, so we're now getting to a point where, and we'll probably talk about this in the coming weeks, but I mean, a lot of these places, the one constant from basically all of these publications is that the top team that they're picking to win the Horizon League is Wright State, Ricky. Congrats! So your preseason and your preseason top player, and Loudon Love is in the conversation for Player of the Year. Although I'm sure Antoine Davis will have something to say about it emphatically. So I guess my question to all of you is Wright State the team to beat this year? Or can you make an argument for somebody else to step in and say, hey, we're the guy, forget all these predictions, get us in there?
I mean, from my perspective, being the fan of the favorite, I still think it's Northern Kentucky, the team to beat right now. They're the defending champs, but I see right now it's an arms race between Northern Kentucky and Wright State. I don't see any of the other teams really stepping in right now.
I'd have to agree with that also with Northern Kentucky and Wright State. I would have said Oakland coming off the season last year, but then we got plagued by transfers again this summer, which hurt us. But I feel like it's going to be Northern Kentucky and Wright State again.
Okay.
Yeah, I OU, you can never count out Campy, and that's he's my favorite coach in the Horizon, even with our new coach at Northern. I think we might surprise some people on the other side because they've seen our core team with a player like Drew McDonald. But we're gonna we got Jalen Tate that's gonna step up. Everybody looks at our pit bull first teamer. And he can shoot the lights out, but I really think Jalen Tate's the heart and soul of the team and controls the flow. But I think we're gonna struggle a little bit this year against some teams. But I also think that seeing what I've seen so far from Horn, he's sort of to me he's Brandon on methamphetamines. He Brandon used to always say 90 feet. And when I met Horn for the first time, his pupils were so non-dilated. They were so closed. He's just a focused, hard, pushing individual. And a couple of players have talked to.
He's just yelling 180 feet all over the place.
Non-stop. I mean, I think he's trying to murder some players in practice just through conditioning. So,
wait, it sounds like you're talking about the Detroit Mercy coach.
Well,
actually, if you believe the stories, it sounds like Dennis Felton too.
Detroit Mercy Coach of the Week.
So, we'll see. I think we got a learning. I think we had a big learning year this year with these players that we have that have come in. So we'll see. We'll see. I think Wright State's the team to beat. That's who I think is the team to beat, and I don't mind being in that position with Northern.
Well, let me ask you this:
where I'm sitting, Bob, if I could, Wright State. Number one with a bullet, no doubt about it, should be number one in all these projections. And I'm glad Chris is realistic about NKU because all the NKU social media is just totally out to lunch.
That's how it's supposed to be.
No inside game, new coach, a retread coach. The history of retreads is really weak. Come on, they're not the best team in the league anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough year. But that's how you're supposed to be on social media. When I'm showing my picture, I make sure I show my good side when I'm, putting it out there for the ladies. I don't show all my bad sides. So,
I don't think you can necessarily discount Northern Kentucky in the long run because of retreads. Nah. Obviously, Gary Waters was a retread, and he did pretty well at Cleveland State.
True, very true indeed. But then we follow that up with Dennis Felton, and of course, he absolutely was not.
I think Horn's a different. I think he's a different animal. Meeting him and having a chance to, I think he's a different animal. Like I said, he's a very stoic coach. I think you'll see that on the side, kind of like Brandon was. It's an odd situation. He's not dissimilar from Brandon as far as that. All he has to do is stare at you. He doesn't get crazy. But I think we have a big learning curve this year. And as far as the inside presence, I don't know that's I mean, look how we beat Loudon Love. I have fears for Loudon Love this year, and sorry about that, but I think people have figured him out.
Really?
I think I think if you look at a couple of offenses that were run, they're making him come out of the paint. They're making him run up and down the floor, and as well as he did in conditioning his first couple of years, I think his conditioning has definitely tapered off in the at least last year. And I know he had some injuries, but I think people have started to figure him out when you don't have a big man to play against him. So we'll see. We'll see. Because I think he's a phenomenal player.
To your point there, Chris, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I think to his point, yeah. I mean, if you have a big man that can match up with him, I think you can figure him out. But if you don't have the size to match up with him, he's going to be a problem for you.
And that's a problem that has plagued the Horizon League for a lot of the Horizon League teams. Regardless, I mean, you bring up last year where you saw a couple of teams that figured out Loudon Love. One of them was Northern Kentucky, and unfortunately, the two guys who were on who figured him out were Chris Vogt and Drew McDonald, who are gone.
Yeah.
The other one, to that point, then I mean, even with the transfers, even with the transfers on the Oakland side, Oakland still has Brad Brechting.
Yeah, Oakland's going to have a different look this year. We're definitely going to be a big team down with Brad Brechting, David Homais. Then we have that new guy, Oladapo, who just transferred in. That's three big men we're going to have down low. And then you have Babatunde Swami. If he's going to get some minutes, he could be a factor down low, too. So that's four big men that Oakland's going to have. Definitely a different look than the outside shooting perimeter team that we normally have.
By the way, I'm glad you said Babatunde Swami was going to be a part of this, was going to play a bigger role this year. I was a little disappointed because that's one of my favorite names now in the Horizon League, Babatunde Swami. So I personally am looking forward to seeing more of him this season. So
he's definitely a fan favorite, and definitely he was supposed to redshirt last year. I believe Campy brought him in the Michigan State game, which kind of confused us all. Didn't really get much playing time the rest of the season. I know he just missed the Greece trip that Oakland went to due to some visa issues.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping that he's going to get some more playing time and be a bigger factor this year.
Nice. And I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you look at last year as an example, like everything we're talking about, Oakland had inside players, NKU had inside players, Wright State had inside players, but they also had really good guard play. Yeah. And when you think about what's left in the league, who has inside players and still has guard play? Like, there's no known guard play for Oakland, no known inside players for NKU. So, I mean, to me, Wright State looks like a early favorite. And all these other teams are going to need somebody that we're not thinking of to really step up if they want to compete with Wright State.
I know we don't have a representative here, but where do we factor UIC in? Because you still have Marcus Adi and Tarkus Ferguson in their backcourt, who I still think is one of the best ones in the conference. Plus, you have Jordan Blount up front. Where do they factor in?
He's out, isn't he? Wasn't Jordan Blount injured?
He tore his ACL.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so they're screwed. Never mind.
Well, and they have Steve McLean, so they're screwed either way.
Not really. And they are the only team that beat Wright State twice last year.
Again,
so that's an interesting game to watch because it's like watching a wrestling match. It gets so physical.
That's true because I know last year Jordan Blount and Loudon Love got into it in that game.
Yeah.
And that was hilarious, by the way. I think I saw that video multiple times. But yeah, and again, I don't, and again, you back to the guard play of UIC. You've got a guy like Tarkus Ferguson, who in a lot of conversation is still a first team All Horizon guy. So I mean, I guess, but again, if you have an injury issue with Jordan Blount. And, Steve McLean hasn't really found a way to kind of get over the top, even though he has successfully got them out of the basement where they were for many, many years. they're just UIC has always been kind of a mystery to me. And by the way, maybe that's why UIC fans never didn't want to come on the show, because we don't really talk about them very much. They're an interesting story. We just never talk about them because
I thought they were the team to beat at the beginning of the year. In the beginning of the season last year, I thought they might be the team to beat.
Yeah. So that was the thing I thought too. But I mean, yeah, if
I thought so too.
Yeah. But yeah, for whatever reason, that just didn't happen. So
can I tell a quick UIC story, if you don't mind?
Please do.
Absolutely.
Please do.
So Horizon League tournament last year, late in the game up in Green Bay, real tight game, back and forth. UIC calls a timeout, like down 1, and Steve McLean's in the huddle, big bug eyes. You've seen this before. He literally doesn't say a fucking word. What? He doesn't do anything with the clipboard. And the assistant coach finally grabs the clipboard, draws up a play, and then they run a play and it doesn't work. And I'm like,
he's trying to pull the coach through osmosis.
Yes, it was kind of the Darren Horn can look at you and John Brand can look at you. Well, Steve McLean apparently can't look at you and get you to do something, because they literally ran nothing coming out of a timeout, the most important play of the season, and lost the game. And
maybe was he doing it telepathically? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that could have confused somebody.
I'll tell you what, the floor in front of the UIC bench was sparkling clean because his tie cleaned up all of the dust along the floor as he walked by.
Well, as Matt Dudek keeps saying, he does closely resemble a movie villain, and since Dennis Felton is out now, we used to have 2 movie villains, now we only have 1. So somebody's gonna have to some other coach is gonna have to step their game up there.
Well, we're going to have 0 because it's pretty clear that McLean's done. I mean, his contract only goes through 2021, and they're not extending that. I mean, at the end of the season, they have 1 year left. What's the history of guys with 1 year left on their deal? Are they magically going to get a 4-year extension?
Oh,
no.
Crazy-ass athletic directors kill them off.
Yeah.
And their entire program. That's my experience with coaches with 1 year left on their contract.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Or make them retire, Yeah, well, no, I'm sorry. That's 2 years left on their contract.
Fucking whack job athletic directors.
Well, and look at Jason Gardner. Obviously, he had a major off-court issue.
Who had 1 year left on his contract too? Yeah, that's true.
He was done at the end of the year. Like, these guys aren't going to get extensions. They're done. So enjoy McLean while you've got it. I
can't believe that he got fired. Like, the OWI had to just be an excuse.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the other thing with UIC, and this part is important. I'm glad you brought up the 1 year left of his contract thing too. He probably is gone at the end of the year because he's going to be under a new athletic director soon, because Garrett Classy left. So they're bringing in a new athletic director, and he's going to want his own guy. They're going to want his own guy.
Wait,
their own
so
guy.
they had Jim Schmidt for like 25 years,
yeah,
and then the guy who replaced him gets replaced.
Yeah,
like almost immediately. Yeah, it's funny
for Garrett Classy. Well, Garrett Classy's was around forever, and then he just went to Nebraska. They have an interim right now. I don't know who they are, but they've got
Sparky the Dragon.
Sparky the Dragon. Sparky makes another appearance on our podcast.
In our podcast.
Yeah, see, there you go. I wouldn't talk about it either, because that seems like a very hush-hush situation there. I mean, we do not comment on the search process, I guess. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, Steve McLean is kind of really behind the 8 ball. He's gonna, I mean, there should be a sense of urgency with him, because he hasn't really gotten it done aside from that third tier tournament run he had, and he's got a new boss to impress, who's probably not going to immediately not be impressed with him off the bat, because historically the new guy's going to want his own guy in there.
Or a new gal, if what I hear is correct.
This is true. Yes, that was very bad of me to do that. So I shouldn't do that. But anyway,
I just say that, Bob, because I know of some females that did interview for that role. So
there you go.
Plus, McLean loses his whole backcourt after this year,
exactly.
So he's got nothing coming back.
It's a good time to make a change.
Yeah. So that will probably be a change we see. So IUPUI and UIC are probably immediately making, or it's pretty it's pretty much a foregone
Steve
conclusion.
McLean is coaching for his job.
He is coaching for his job. So, like I said, there's got to be a sense of urgency for him there. And if there isn't, nope, he's just shit out of luck. The one other, and then Jim, I actually wanted to ask you this question, and this is in regards to Green Bay. Obviously, the loss of Sandy Cohen to graduation hurts. How do they make up for it? How do they make up for that loss? I mean, do they continue to compete? Do they have an outside shot of getting to the top tier, staying in the top tier of the Horizon League?
Yeah, I think they're top 3 in this league for certain. You see Jaquan McLeod coming back, a very great offensive player, shooting 40% from downtown.
Yeah, fucking rub it in.
Yep. You're welcome. We got Tank Hemphill, a guy with 2-foot range and only goes to his left hand, yet unstoppable doing that. The thing that Green Bay is going to need is last year at this time, if I would have said, hey, Cam Hankerson's going to be a 15-point per game guy, everybody would have been, yeah, of course. And then he kind of got lost a little bit in the shuffle. And what he's going to need is just straight-up usage. Like, he's probably not a better player this year than he was last year, but he can fill that role to a lesser extent with Sandy Cohen. Suddenly, a 10-point game guy or 8-point a game guy might go to 12 or 13 or 14. Like, they're going to play their system. They've lost Khalil Small. They've lost Carrington Love. They've lost Jordan Faust, and they've still always been that very competitive. They're gonna get out and run, force the tempo, and they've got a plethora of wing players that can score. So I feel like they're still in the mix. Mm-hmm. For them, rebounding
and gritty.
That's true.
Yeah, but rebounding, good gracious, they couldn't rebound. And I actually talked to Manny Patterson at a golf outing in the summer, and he flat out told me, he said his whole focus was double-doubles. And I was so relieved because last year I talked to him, and he said his focus was shooting threes. So I feel like there's a possibility for them to really be at the top of this league and compete.
Did you ask him double-double what? It may be double shooting and 3-point shooting on top of it. Yeah, turnovers. But no, Green Bay is easily top 4, possibly top 3. But I think it comes more from their guard play and their grit. They always bring it.
Yeah.
I have more confidence in Green Bay than I do for any of the other teams that are in that the middle chunk of the conference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there was because last year there was really between 3 through 8 there was just kind of a log jam in that 3 through 8. Near the end of the season, you didn't even know who was going to be finishing 3rd or finishing 8th. So that was. There was no shortage of. It certainly wasn't boring, at least from our standpoint. But it's. I want to say that log jam is going to stay jammed this year. But who knows?
2 through 8 looks like a log jam to me. To me, on paper, it's Wright State 1, IUPUI, and CSU 9 and 10, and everything else is. We'll find out.
I think Detroit's
never count out Milwaukee from 9 and 10.
That's right. Ever. I think Detroit's going to be the surprise team. I know that sounds odd to say with their single amazing player, but I think they're going to be real surprising this year. That's my call. Like I thought UIC was going to be the team that's going to surprise everybody. Yeah. But I think Detroit's going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think in this and Rick, on the second half, I want to ask second half of the second part of this episode. I actually want to ask you about the situation at Detroit Mercy. Because I know during this episode run, I'm sure there will be a decision made on that eventually. But for right now, I want to cut off the first part of this. So you guys are going to have to wait till next week to actually listen to the rest of this. So, gentlemen, for the first part, I thank you guys for participating. Just hold tight. We're gonna get everybody geared up for the second part of this. As always, you can find episodes of the Horizon Roundtable at Sports. Oh my God! I actually just went to the old site again. Jeez,
Horizon.
That's our Twitter handle, Horizon RT. You can go to Horizon Roundtable for all our episodes, all our content. You can find us wherever you find podcasts, and stay tuned. Next week we've got the second part of this, but as always, thanks for listening.